My dad said, "You think you're better?" I said, "I think I'm healed." It was a Saturday morning in early spring, and the sun was spilling through the kitchen window, hitting the old wooden table where my dad sat, sipping black coffee. I had just returned from my first therapy session in months, the one I hesitated to sign up for because I wasn't sure I could face the memories that haunted me. The air smelled faintly of toast and the lavender sachet Mom used to keep in the pantry. My dad looked up at me over the rim of his mug, his eyes narrowing with that familiar mix of skepticism and concern. "You think you're better?" he said. I paused, feeling the old fear flicker inside me. The fear of disappointing him, the fear of showing weakness, the fear that healing was just another thing I would fail at. But this time, instead of shrinking, I straightened my shoulders and let the words come out softly but firmly. "I think I'm healed." He blinked, one long pause stretching between us. I could see the war inside him. Pride, disbelief, maybe even relief. I remembered last year after the accident, when I couldn't even sit at this table without wincing in pain. He had tried to hide it, but I knew he was scared that I would never be the same. I had spent months in physical therapy, counseling, journaling at 2 a.m., crying into my pillow while the house slept. I had rebuilt myself in tiny, painful steps. "I went running this morning," I added, trying to keep my voice steady, "and I didn't stop once. Not because I pushed through, but because I could, because I wanted to." He didn't say anything, just stared. Then he set his mug down with a soft clink and reached across the table. His hand, calloused from years of construction work, covered mine. "I see it," he said quietly, and for a moment it felt like the air itself was holding its breath. We sat there for a while, not speaking, just feeling the weight of the years lift off in tiny increments. I thought about all the nights I thought I would never get here, and here I was, laughing a little at the memory of my old self who thought healing meant forget. Healing wasn't forget. It was feeling everything, facing it, and still choosing to move forward. Later, he told me stories about the time I fell off my bike when I was 8, how I insisted I was fine even though my knee was scraped raw. I laughed, and he laughed too. That deep, low laugh that always made me feel safe. I realized then that this wasn't just about me being healed. It was about us, finally learning that being vulnerable didn't make us weak. It made us human. I went on to tell him about the small victories he hadn't seen. Finally sleeping through the night without waking up in pain, writing in my journal without feeling that heavy, looming sense of despair, even smiling at myself in the mirror without flinching. I told him about the people I had met along the way. The therapist who pushed me gently, the friend who stayed up on nights I thought I would fall apart, the neighbor who always checked on me after my surgery. Each story added layers of light, little proofs that life was slowly, steadily returning. He listened like I was reading aloud from a book he had been waiting to read for years. I saw the pride soften his rough edges, the fear in his eyes fading into something warmer, quieter. It was like the air itself had changed in the kitchen, carrying the scent of toast, coffee, and the faint hint of hope that I hadn't noticed before. As I walked back to my room, I glanced over my shoulder. My dad was still sitting at the table, sipping his coffee, smiling just a little. I felt lighter than I had in years, not because the pain was gone, but because I had carried it here, into the light, and my dad had met me halfway. And in that small, sunlit kitchen, I knew it wasn't about proving I was better. It was about showing that I could be whole, and that maybe, for the first time in a long time, we were both finally okay.